Hello, wonderful IELTS students. Today, we are going to look at 5 key tips for your listening. We want to improve your score, and how can we do this? Well, let's find out. Tip 1. When you do fill in the blanks or multiple choice, and they give you a statement, turn the statement into a question. If you are asking a question in your head, the answer will seem much more clear. For example, imagine on the test you get this question. In 1998, scientists did research in to gather information. Now, I know because it's in, it is probably a location because they're not doing research on, they're doing research in. So in my head, I'm asking, where did scientists do research? Where did scientists study? I am asking that question. I am not just looking at the sentence they gave me. When I ask that question, if they name a place, I'm going to hear it right away. Let's look at another example. It says, amusement parks are using blank to ensure safer rides. So in my head, I'm asking for more safety. What are amusement parks using? What are amusement parks utilizing for more safety? I'm asking the question. One more example. It says, Susan focused on women musicians because. Then I see the potential answers. But in my head, I am asking, why did Susan focus on women musicians? Why did she focus on female musicians? I'm asking a question, and when you ask a question, the answer becomes clearer when they give it. Let's look at tip 2. When doing part 3, often if the answer seems extremely easy, this means it's probably not the answer. They're trying to trick you. They want to see that you can understand whole ideas, not just words. They do not want to see that you can just understand a couple words. They want whole ideas. So let's look at an example question. If we look at 27, it says the professor thought the student should rewrite the essay because. So in my head, of course, I'm asking a question. I'm saying, why did the professor think the students should rewrite it? Why? So I'm asking that question. So we see our options. Let's look at the example statement. This is the professor. Well, Martha, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I think you are going to do this essay again. Now, usually I only ask students to do this when there wasn't enough solid research, but this is not the case here. Well, a lot of students will pick it lacked proper research because they heard not enough solid research. But that's too easy. Just because they say not enough solid research, that doesn't mean it's the answer. Because the professor then says, but this is not the case here. So let's keep going. And although your grammar wasn't perfect, it would not warrant a rewrite. So then the people hear grammar wasn't perfect and they say, yep, there's the answer. There were too many grammar mistakes. But this is too easy because the teacher then says it would not warrant a rewrite. So the teacher is saying you do not have to do it because of grammar mistakes. So already the answer is not B or C, even though they say these words. It's too easy if that's the case. So let's look at the last part. My main issue is the fact that it seems like you copied another author's materials, and this is just not acceptable at this level. So the teacher says that it looks like you copied another author's materials. This is plagiarism. Then the teacher says, and this is not acceptable at this level. So here we can see that the reason the student has to rewrite it is because of plagiarism. The other answers were almost too easy and they were trying to trick you. All right, let's look at one more example. Let's look at the situation. Manpreet and David both agree that the lecture was somewhat dull. Dull means boring. The lecture had the right amount of visuals. The lecturer spoke too quickly. All right, so I'm turning this into a question. What did they both agree on? Let's look at the conversation. Hi Manpreet, did you enjoy today's lecture? Yes, it was much more interesting than past lectures. And instead of speaking at 100 miles an hour, the speaker was actually understandable. Okay, so a lot of people then pick C. Once again, this would be too easy. David said instead of speaking at 100 miles an hour, the speaker was actually understandable. Manpreet said that. So, the lecturer did not speak too quickly. Then David says, that's true, and there were lots of interesting photographs as well, but they weren't so abundant that it was distracting. Lots of photographs, so those are visuals, and then he says, but they weren't so abundant that it was distracting, so he's saying, there weren't so many that it bothered me. So this would be the answer, B, because there is the right amount. Remember, if it seems too easy, it often is. Let's look at tip 3. When it comes to writing out letters and numbers, be aware of the ones that cause you problems. You have to look at your own challenges here. In part 1 of IELTS Listening, they will often give names, codes, phone numbers, etc., and then spell them out. For example, my name is Robert Nesbitt. Okay, could you spell the last name for me? Yes, Nesbitt. That's just an example. Or example 2, could I get your passport number? Yes, it's 55J HK9G49. So, you need to find out which letters confuse you. Maybe it's H and A. Maybe it's A and I. Maybe it's J and G. Maybe it's X and S. When you find out the letters that confuse you, say them to yourself. For example, if I have trouble with J and G, I should spend maybe 20 seconds going J, G, J, G, J, G, and noticing the difference. If you have problems with X and S, X, S, X, S. This is up to you. Now, a lot of people have trouble with numbers, especially with numbers like 50 and 15, 70 and 17. Now, when you have a number that is based on tens, like 50, you stress the first syllable. Notice 50, 50. When the number is based on teens, you stress the second syllable. 15, 15. Let's look at another example. 80, 80, 18, 18. Okay, so let's go to tip 4. This is me being honest. If your English level is too low, tips will not help you much. Always remember IELTS is an English test. It shows you are ready, if you get 6.5, to go to university, or that you can succeed and live comfortably in an English-speaking country. Be honest with yourself. Are you ready for university? Are you ready for college? So, have that honesty. If your vocab is too low, it doesn't really matter how many tips I give you. And tip 5, this is very simple. Practice is the most important thing. As a teacher, I've seen students improve their listening score by 10 points in a month. However, they practice listening tests 3 to 5 times a week. They naturally developed strategies, became more comfortable with the speed, and started to get the tricks IELTS plays. Remember, tips will help you, but practice is the most important thing. If you want practice, just type in IELTS and then a number between 1 to 15 on YouTube, and just type in IELTS number listening, and you'll find over 40 tests. Okay, everyone, I hope these tips help you out in your IELTS journey. More will come, so please subscribe, like, share, comment, hate, whatever you do. Have a great day. Bye.